Hello and welcome. Campbell here from Autodidactic. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Thanks for joining me. And of course, autodidactic means to be self-educated, and we have to be self-educated because if we're not, the only choice we have left is to believe what other people tell us.
Rockefeller seized U.S. media. He also hijacked U.S. medicine. When it was discovered that drugs could be produced from petroleum, America's top oil mogul ordered his army of propagandists to invert reality accordingly. Medicines used for thousands of years were suddenly classified as alternative, while the new, petroleum-based, highly addictive, and patentable drugs were declared the gold standard. After buying the German pharmaceutical company that manufactured chemicals of war for Adolf Hitler, Rockefeller leveraged his political influence by pressing Congress to declare natural healing modalities unscientific quackery. Rockefeller then took control of the American Medical Association and began offering massive grants to top medical schools under the mandate that only his approved curriculum of the healing powers of herbs, plants, and diet was erased from most medical textbooks. Doctors and professors who objected to Rockefeller's plan were crucified.
Well, that just kind of stopped. But yeah, basically anyone who stood up against him was, yeah, had their businesses and their reputations destroyed, and some were even unalived. But this is the Rockefellers, and of course they've still got their fingers in everything, right? Up near the top of the pile. And this is what they did. They took over the universities. That they also took over the schools and the curriculums in schools. And of course, in a university, right, you go there to get a degree, like one degree, right? It's all Masonic. In masonry, they tell us it goes up to 33, maybe 99 degrees, but much more than one, that's for sure.
Unfortunately, I think this is just the beginning. So I've learned when people tell you what they're going to do, don't ignore them. So when the UN and Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab tell you that they've got a UN 2030 plan with sustainable development goals, I think there are 17 or 21 of them, and every one of them says you won't be traveling, you won't have a private car, we won't be using international shipping to move goods around, there won't be any flights except military or perhaps very rich people. You won't own anything and you'll be happy. You probably won't live in your own house. You'll be using much less energy for everything, including heating, manufactured goods, and so on. When they tell you that, you should assume that they're serious about it. And so I think COVID has been part one of a multi-act play that's going to take 10 years that will destroy the liberal democracies completely. We've already, if you think living in a democracy, now ask yourself who you could vote for that would change this. Because I don't think there's anyone you can vote for anywhere that is guaranteeing things. So I don't have an answer, but I'm telling you, I think we're sliding down through the gates of hell. I'm speaking out. There's nothing in it for me. I've lost lots of money, all my friends. I'm away from my home and family. And I'm speaking out because, personally, as I close, I am absolutely sure what I've told you is substantially true.
Yeah, Agenda 30, right? Agenda 21 before that, that's for the 21st century, and then Agenda 30 for the 2030. And clearly they are well underway at pushing this out with all the surveillance stuff going on. Of course, what happened in 2020, censorship. Someone got jailed in England the other day for 20 months for making a post basically saying that he didn't want his taxes to go and support, immigrants, illegal immigrants that weren't working. And he got 20 months jail. So it's getting pretty crazy out there. But the thing is, they've already lost. We've already won. We can see the scales tipping, and we've just got to basically start not complying, start not living in their system, right? Start making our own systems, start meeting up in person again, right? Gathering, all this kind of stuff, because they only have power when we agree, when we comply. So that time's definitely done. Time to non-comply. Wow, that's a very cool locking door. Jeez. Old world tech, right? When they used to actually be able to build things of function and beauty. And all the temples there, the Indian temples, I think they're Sikh, is that right? With the moving parts. What do you think they are? I mean, I've been saying for years that all these big old world Tartarian buildings are machines. And I think with the temples in India, they really look like machines, right? We saw one compared to a jet engine a few days ago. So what do you think they are? What do you think their function is? Let me know in the comments. Well, that was awesome. Yeah, what do you think? Machines? They definitely look like machines, like turbines of some kind. I'm not sure, what do you think they're for? I mean, I have no idea. I look at the cathedrals and think that they're are made at least frequency modulators, if we can call them that. They take in the ether and they change the frequency of it. And I think that a lot of the energy of the old world was just ether, so I don't know how many turning parts you'd need. So what are these? I don't know. Is it some kind of macro computer data storing device? I really don't know. But let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts? What's it all about?
Emerging evidence reveals that elites and big pharma executives faked taking the mRNA shots, paying to appear on vaccination registers while never actually taking the jab. Watch this.
In Spain, apparently there was an investigation by the federal police, and they caught a bunch of people in, I guess, what would be like a vaccine passport sting. This is a shocking headline. It's really incredible. Listen to this. Big Pharma boss caught faking his COVID vaccination status, injected himself with salt water, instead now facing criminal charges. It says police have charged Jose Maria Fernandez Sosa Faro, the president of European pharmaceutical behemoth Pharma Mar, with being falsely vaccinated against COVID-19. Dr. Sosa Farrar is embroiled in a European controversy involving individuals, many of whom are well-known figures, being added to the National Immune Registry in exchange for large sums of money. Dr. Sosa Farrar is among more than 2,200 celebrities and European elites on the list drawn up by the national police of those falsely vaccinated against COVID. According to El Mundo, that's the newspaper reporting, Spanish police carried out the investigation called Operation Jenner, which uncovered a vast network of celebrities and elites who have paid money to have their names fraudulently entered on the National Immunization Register, despite refusing to be vaccinated. And it says here, this is the kicker. According to the police who are investigating the 2,200 false COVID-19 vaccination certificates, the fee was dependent on your social standing. The more important you were, the higher the price you paid. You got to wonder if that's going on in other countries, like the United States.
Yeah, I mean, how many professional athletes, had a doctor squirt a vaccine into a trash can? How many people in power? I've even heard inside sources, inside CDC, FDA, saying that, they're cheating in here. Now, here you have a guy that works in the pharmaceutical industry, so he should know, if anyone's going to know what's going on there, and this guy's paying a fortune in order to keep from putting this thing in his body. In some ways, I guess it's unfortunate that they got caught. I guess, they were trying to just live a naturally healthy life. And the only way they sought to do that was by, I guess, fraudulently providing state documents. But I think we're going to see more of these types of things. Makes you think about how you move forward in a world like this. I mean, this again, we laugh, but it's very dystopian, right? If you haven't gotten that injection, if you don't have that, serum running through your veins, are there machines that are going to detect that? Are we going to have a dye or something that appears in our vein? All of this has been discussed. All these thoughts are out there, and those technologies are being worked on as we speak.
Right. How many of these people, the 2,200 celebrities and elites, as they say in this article, how many of these people were on the front end pushing this through, PSAs or through commercials or pushing it because they're a sports celebrity? And then on the back end, the hypocrisy of this is just jaw-dropping.
Yes, well, I hope you didn't take it. Most of us knew back in 2020 that this kind of thing was going on. They weren't obviously actually taking it themselves, but the problem is that people who didn't understand or don't understand, how the world really works, and thought, this doesn't feel right, may have been swayed, right, by, sports people and politicians and all this, taking it on television. Politicians and sports people and people like that taking it on television in a clear effort to sway people's minds. And from that, I don't know if we'll ever know how many people have been unalived and injured and had their lives destroyed. It's just shocking. But the whole 2020 thing, it's weird, right? It's put a big divide in society, especially for single people, right? If you're single, let me know. Like how do you do it these days? How do you can't just ask them, are you vaxxed or not? Because, that's basically if they are, right, that they're off the list. How are you getting around that?
So this is a clip. I'm just going to play a little bit of it, right? This is a clip from a court in the UK of a judge handing down a sentence to a man who posted something on social media. I want you to hear this because this is not fake. This is real. This is happening right now in the UK.
You went on to say that you did not want your money going to immigrants who, quote, are kids and get priority, end quote. This offence is so serious that an immediate custodial sentence is unavoidable.
So this guy put up a quote, put up something on social media, a comment saying, I don't want my money as a UK tax government going to immigrants who rape our kids. Now, that got him 20 months in jail in the UK.
Holy crap. Welcome to 1984, people. And this is what they're doing. And I've been wondering what's going on, with all these protests, and it seems like there's a relaxing on the censorship in social media. Is that all there so they can catch us? So we start posting again, and then they're like, haha, we've got you, and throw us in jail. That's one thought. But also the other thing is we have the power. Like whenever this happens, if you hear about it and you're close by, you should rally the people and get down there, make a big noise, or at least start writing letters. Like we need to do something or pay their bail if you can do that. I don't know, but this is getting crazy. And in England, they were emptying the jails like a year ago of actual criminals so they could fill them with people who were posting on social media. Right? Crazy. How do we get around this? Would a VPN sort this? Does that at least not let them know who's posting? I don't know. Let me know your solutions.
Going on in North Korea, United Kingdom, arresting blind people, RAF veterans, and old people, all for holding a sign saying that they are protesting against the G side. This is an RAF veteran. Look at his uniform. Picking him up out of a wheelchair and carrying him away to prison. Remember when they released all those dangerous criminals? Well, it's because they're making space for people like this. That's right, their own veterans being arrested for holding a sign. What do you guys think about the United Kingdom? What is going on? This woman is in her 90s, and they're arresting a 90-year-old woman for using her free speech in a public place. I don't understand what's going on, guys. Even the blind can see that what is going on is wrong. Even the veterans can see what's going on, and the elderly. How is it that our politicians cannot see what we all see? Be on the right side of history, guys.
Yeah, be on the right side of history. But why do our politicians not see this? Well, they do. They're instigating it. They're creating this. They want this. They're not like us. They're the parasites. And it just makes me wonder about, all these, frontliners, right? The police and all these, social service type people who are carrying out all these arrests and raids on homes and, all this stuff, right? For social media posts on 90-year-old women and blind war veterans. I mean, who are they? How do they deal with themselves? Are they just NPCs? Are they just, foot soldiers basically? Because we've got this whole, theory about the NPCs. I don't know. Do you know anyone like this? Do you know any police? Because, I mean, I think the good thing is that we're now at the point with all this behavior that no one trusts them, no one respects them, and things are going to change.
What makes us happy? Come on. What makes you happy? How can you live a happy life? Well, obviously, money, right? You have a lot of money, that's gonna make you happy. What else?
Power.
Exactly, power, right? Sure. Power. Excuse me?
Freedom.
Okay, good. Freedom. Yeah. What else? Relationships? Yep, sure. You have good friends, right? Like lots and lots of friends. What else?
Romantic relationships.
Okay, love, right? Love. Sure. What else? Like video games, I guess. Vacations. Okay? Lots and lots of things, okay? What you will discover about this list is this. You are thinking about individual happiness. And this is actually unique in human history. If you were to go back in time to 500 years ago, and you ask people, how can you be happy? They would focus more on collective happiness. In other words, if your community were not happy, you cannot be happy. So the very idea of the individual is new in human history. Before, we understood that if you want to live a happy life, you need to take care of your family. You need to take care of your community. For them, for us, throughout most of human history, happiness meant helping others, being generous to others. So, for example, let's just say that I go off and I wander, and then I find a lot of gold, right? I come back, and what's the first thing I do with all this gold? Do you guys know? And this is like the ancient past.
Dig a hole and put them inside.
Okay, yeah, good, right? We're gonna dig a hole and put that money inside because we want to give it to our children. That's a modern mindset. But what did they do before? And this happened throughout every society. If I became rich one day, what's the first thing I would do? No. Okay, so we'll learn this, okay? But the first thing that people did was they had a big feast for everyone. They spent all the money on a big feast. Because what mattered was your reputation within the community. What mattered was your generosity.
Well, yes, that's Professor Yang, Jiang. Smart guy. And how true is that? There is no individual happiness. And I think that's true. We're communal creatures. We need community. We need friends. We need conversations. We need other people's energy fields. And I think, we've been on that experiment recently, right, over the last few decades, with everyone getting separated and spending more time online and less actual human connection. And look what's happened. Things have gone downhill. There's so many lonely people, unalivings have gone up, sickness, mental health, it's all gone through the roof, right? And I think it's a direct result of people being alone, right? Trying to get individual happiness rather than community happiness. So definitely get out there and have real conversations with real people.
I'm from outer space. I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gone, I've been far away. I'm illuminated now, make a move, start the waves. I've been dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they want a gold sign. Artificially intelligent way. I'm your future, past and present, I'm a fine line. Yeah, I'm a missing link of this illusion. I am not really here, I'm an intrusion. I don't swim or sink, I just flow. I don't need gravity, I need roll. When I move, it's in a quick rumble. I won't ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down, won't stop, there we go. When I move,
Interesting. Old Charlie Big Ears. Not my king. Yeah, people fainting. Interesting. That painting, that red painting that we all saw, it reminds me of that one from Ghostbusters or Ghostbusters 2, with the demon inside it, basically. And of course, old Charlie is the descendant of Dracula, Vlad the Impaler.
Prince Charles, who can trace his ancestry back to Romania's dark and distant past.
The genealogy shows that I'm descended from Vlad the Impaler, you see. So I do have a bit of a stake in the country.
As it were.
President Trump has appeared on the National Mall. It depicts Trump holding hands with Jeffrey Epstein. A plaque reads, "In honor of Friendship Month, we celebrate the long-lasting bond between President Donald J. Trump and his closest friend, Jeffrey Epstein."
What the? Okay, I don't know much about that. I mean, it looked like it was just on the sidewalk somewhere, right? So it looks like someone's probably made it and put it up there. I don't think it's, official or anything, but yeah, pretty funny, right? The whole Trump Epstein thing has suddenly blown up in the last few months, hasn't it? And first he was going to release the files, and now apparently there are no files. What do you think about that?
Guys, there is an insane connection with what happened with Charlie Kirk and a movie that came out in 1998. So the movie is called Snake Eyes and it starred Nicolas Cage. And the movie was about a man named Charles Kirkland who got shot in the neck at a public event. Now, in the first 10 seconds of the movie, there is a sign for this event, and it says that it takes place on September 10th. So in this movie, the killer killed Charles Kirkland on September 10th, which is when our Charlie Kirk got killed. It gets even crazier because the killer in this movie is called the Executioner, and he is a distraction for the person who actually did the killing of Charles Kirkland. And get this, the person who took the rap for it in the movie's name is Tyler. Tyler. You know, the same thing that happened to Charlie Kirk. Tyler Robinson. And on the box for this movie and on the trailer of this movie, underneath where it says Snake Eyes, it says, "Believe everything but your eyes." Guys, what is happening?
Oh, well, the old Charlie story just gets weirder and weirder. More truth in movies. We saw the Back to the Future yesterday, I think it was. More truth in movies. Charlie or Charles, was it Charles Kirkland? That's crazy. And the unaliver was Tyler, and someone was there pretending, like the executioner, did she call him? Who was pretending, he was like the distraction. That happened as well, right? With that old guy who said that he was the shooter. I mean, what do you think, guys? What is this place? Are we just on a movie set? Is it a scripted reality? Or is it just, the parasites putting a narrative out there that is probably not true and trying to get us to believe it? I mean, I don't know, something's very strange in the realm at the moment, isn't it? But there you go. That's today's video. Thanks heaps for spending some time with me. I hope you enjoyed that one. Please give me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe if you like this content, and share around. And if you haven't seen my other channel, it's just Autodidactic. My main channel, go and check that out. And also, if you'd like to support me at all, you'll find links below. Well, thanks again. Stay awesome, and I'll talk to you on the next upload. Bye for now.
A higher volume of tests. When you go back to the manufacturer,
I'm about to lock the darn door!
He's like, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
You want that? Too bad. Lauren needs to best.
Hi!